You're listening to The Other 50%, a herstory of Hollywood. I'm Julie Harris Walker. This is a podcast where I talk to successful women in entertainment and hear their stories. For today's episode, I got to speak with Kayden Phoenix. Kayden is a writer, director, producer, filmmaker. She's a third-generation Latina from East LA who is all about diversity and inclusion. She is equal parts filmmaker and activist, and she is prolific. She made 6 shorts last year and is showing no signs of slowing down. In fact, she's ramping up. She is one to watch. You can find us at theother50%.com for added features, photos, show notes, merchandise, and you can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbay, and now on Spotify and iHeartRadio and YouTube. Okay, here's my conversation with Kayden. Have a listen.
What do you do? I am a filmmaker. I'm a writer, director, and producer.
And you're a unicorn in that you're an LA native, aren't you?
I am an LA native. I'm a third generation from Boyle Heights, California. My grandparents went to Roosevelt, which is a street parallel to where I live currently with my grandma and my mom.
I don't meet LA natives every day, especially in this business.
Yeah, we don't exist. Everyone leaves. That's what I figured out. But I like it. I appreciate being from LA. I think it's a really fun, strong point as well. But it's very fun because I get to tour people around, and I like that because everyone's a tourist or a transplant, and so I enjoy touring them around different parts. The beach, of course, Boyle Heights, Hollywood, anywhere.
You probably know the city way better than the rest of us.
I like to think I do. I hope I do.
That's fun. Now, how did you get into filmmaking in the first place?
I kind of fell into it. I went to a lot of movies growing up with my grandparents. Every weekend I saw 2 or 3 movies. We just snuck in. And so I've always been around the industry on the outside. And then I went to school at Marymount. So I was still very within LA. Mm-hmm. And then I just, I started writing before anything else, screenplays. And then from writing I went into directing. And out of necessity I did producing. And so it all just came together at once, kind of at one time. And naturally, it wasn't like something I set out to do. I didn't go to school for film.
Yeah, what was your major?
I majored in business administration with emphasis in marketing.
But you know what? That'll come in handy.
Yeah, no, it does. It definitely comes in handy.
That's not a wasted degree.
Yeah. Everything's a business. It's show business. So half of it is show, is the creative side, and the other half is the business side. So it worked out. I'm glad I did go and get that.
What was talk a little bit about the transition where you're in business school and marketing, and then you write a script. What was that? You don't just sit down one day and write a script. Or do you?
It's a different part of me, I guess. I did business more so out of my parents' choice. So I did that, and it's fine. I'm glad they told me to take business. I wanted to take theater, but they said, you're paying $40,000 for, theater classes, for acting classes. And I was just like, no, it's free. And they're like, no, don't be dumb. And I was
not free, it's not free.
Yeah, and so, I was on scholarship, so it was technically free. But nice. It was a smarter route to take business, because I can take acting, I can take theater, I can take everything else thereafter.
I feel like this is every conversation between parents and an artist. All right, but get your business degree.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's fine. I appreciate it now. I'm fine with it. I did take classes afterwards. I took writing. I took everything else afterwards, and during school as well, because I had a lot of electives. And so I guess it was just a natural transition. I gravitated toward the arts and towards writing, and so. And maybe it's to balance the business, or just maybe it just naturally went that way. And so I liked it. I don't know how I did it. I just I'll just write a script. And it was really bad. My first script was absolutely bad. It was a feature, so it was 90 pages, and it was short, and it was just bad, which is great, because I got out all the junk. And
that woman, I can't remember her name right now, but she says you have to have your shitty first draft.
Probably. I had lots of bad first drafts. But no, same thing. It helped me learn. It helped me get to the next step. And so that's my whole thing, is, keep getting to the next platform, the next stepping stone.
And then you went right into, I'm going to produce and direct my own material?
Because I wrote shorts and I wanted to get them made and get them seen. And so by necessity, I co-directed them, and I produced as well. And so, and it was easier. It's faster, because I work a little bit fast. And it's easier for me to be doing stuff myself than reaching out to somebody and say, hey, can you do me a favor? Hey, can you do me a favor? I was doing it more so myself. And so, I did about 6 shorts last year. And they've been doing...
Hold on. I just did 6 shorts last year. Like, I don't hear that story every day. Most people maybe do 1, maybe do 2.
Yeah.
You're just pumping them out. Like, how?
I have a great team behind me. I have an all-female crew. And so I'm really lucky that everybody, we're a great collaboration. Everyone around me, we all have the same goal in mind. Is just like, do your shorts, get to film festivals, get to the next step.
So you have the same team that is doing it?
I
you
try
have a
to.
company.
I have a production company that it's called the Phoenix Rises, but I mean it is my female crew. It's my female casting director, my female editor. It's everyone that if they're available, and if they want to do it, they will work on it. If not, I grab somebody else like a sub. But yes, otherwise it's all the same crew. It's always a diverse cast, a diverse crew. If not all female, they're diverse as well. And so we're just a big, we're a great team. I'm really happy to be working with them, honestly.
Tell me the origin of the name.
Phoenix Rises? Well, my last name is Phoenix, and so Phoenix Rises is pretty much the definition of a phoenix in a way. So I like it. It's just that we're all rising up together. That's kind of the way I see it. As females, as minorities, as anybody diverse, we all rise up together, and you bring the person along with you. So that's my mentality.
So you're on a very specific mission.
Oh, yeah, diversity and inclusion.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Why is that important?
Diversity and inclusion is extremely important because if you're not going to bring yourself up, who is? They haven't done necessarily anything for us. Like in directing, 5 years ago where female directors were 4%. Still, now we're still 4% out of 100. And it's extremely
Nothing
sad.
has changed.
Correct. Yeah, and it's just why not? It's because we're not fighting, and it's not that we're not. We just have to fight harder. We have to unite. We have to come together so we can be a stronger force. And so that's the way I see it. If same thing, we're not helping each other, who else is going to help us? And that's the way. That's just. I don't know. That's the way I've learned it. Always. You bring yourself up. You bring other people up with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always feel ridiculous asking that question because we know why it's important. But I think sometimes you just have to say it out loud
Yes.
And I think it's also important for the world because it's not just about getting people job opportunities, right?
Correct.
What else is it about?
Parity, equality. I mean, I was raised in matriarchy, so I got very lucky from being from a Latina family. So I was in a matriarchy. My great aunt always sat at the head of the table, so it was really nice, And I didn't know the difference until recently. And not to say patriarchy is bad. I'm just saying that sexism and all that the inequality is bad. And so I have. Not necessarily more to fight for, but I can see the difference, and so it hurts me to see other people in other positions that are that let themselves be taken advantage of in a way. So that's why that is one of my other reasons of for parity, because why wouldn't we? I've never seen myself as not equal. I wasn't raised being less than anybody. But out in this world, all of a sudden they're oh no, you're unequal because you're a girl. And I was since when? In my head, I've never been unequal in my life. But I've never seen myself that way, and I've never experienced it until recently, and it just blew my mind.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
It is really weird, and it's really sad, and and it's not that I was sheltered. I was just raised equally, or I've always been equal. And so for me, it was just I don't understand. From an outsider perspective, even though I'm technically within the microcosm. So that's also something I try to help others in that way. All female crew. Why wouldn't I support females? Why wouldn't I support Latinos? Why wouldn't I support gays? Why wouldn't I support anybody? I would always do that. And just because, it's just because it's unfair. It's not even. So if I can help bring it up just even a percentage, at least I'm trying. I'm helping. I'm moving us forward.
Did you think as you were coming up that you were going to have to almost become an activist?
I didn't really see it as an activist. I just see it as me being me in a way, honestly. Me speaking truthfully to a guy, speaking truthfully to a macho. That's just me being me. It's not me
to a macho?
Yeah.
What's a macho?
Macho is a sexist guy. That's the nicest way of saying that. But, that's just me being me as a person. That's not me being oh, I'm going to be, brutal and blunt with you. It's just no, I'm talking to you because you're a person and I'm a person. But that's my mentality. And that's the thing that's the way I was raised.
Right.
Whereas other people are like, oh, be careful or, choose the right words when you speak to this person. It's just like, if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. It's that type of deal. It's not that I'm rude. I do speak truthfully. If someone asks me something, I'll answer it, regardless of who they are, their gender, or their race, or anything else.
So you're not taking on any of that conditioning that women have been so burdened with, where let me figure out how I need to talk and how I need to adjust my voice and how I need to twist myself in a pretzel to be heard by you.
Correct.
Like, you're not having that.
I'm not, and I won't accept it either, and I will not conform to it. There's no reason to.
Amen, sister.
Thank you.
All right, what are your films about?
Okay, so at the beginning I started doing horror films, very quick, short horrors, and they were nice. They were good practice, I guess, for directing and producing. And it was a great time. Everything came out great. And then I did a drama, and then I went into martial arts and action recently. And so a lot, and it's seriously just because I like martial arts. I like action.
Yeah.
I walked up to a producer one time because he was reading my script, a feature script, and the first thing he said is, "I'm surprised you're a girl." He didn't even say hi. And so
because of martial arts? Because
it was a martial arts feature. My name is Kayden, right? So it's unisex. Uh-huh. So I thought it was a guy. And so, and that was my first experience. Was like, okay, it's totally blew my mind. Very simple. It wasn't necessarily an insult, but it was an insult, indirect insult.
It was just his assumption.
It was
this is unconscious gender bias.
Yeah, it's just a word. It's a nice word, but it's still the same. But yeah, and then he continued.
Whatever, it was annoying.
Yeah, he continued to ask me. He says, so what made you want to write an action, feature? Or martial arts feature, and it's just like, if I was a guy, you wouldn't ask me this. The answer is because I want to, because I like to.
Why are you so outside of what you should be doing?
Yeah, and then I followed, I do have a rom-com, so I can't say anything. But, it's just like, I can write anything. I can write martial arts, I can write rom-coms. And they're both good. They both got optioned with my last two features that I've written. And so I just write what I'm interested in at the time, to be honest with you.
So you're not worried about just grabbing a genre and doing it to get in the door? You're going to do everything?
No, I do like martial arts. I do like action. I do enjoy it a lot. My next feature is on dancing, and I don't know how to dance. I'm not a dancer. I'm also not a martial artist, so I can't say anything either way. But it's just what I feel like writing and what I feel like directing at the time.
I love it. You are so fearless.
Thank you.
What is your big goal?
My overall goal is diversity and inclusion. That's my overall goal. To get Chicanas in the industry is my second goal. To have a Chicana win the Academy Award, because we haven't even been nominated besides Dolores Portillo for a documentary. But why hasn't there been a female Latina director? There hasn't been. There's been 5 females and they've all been white. And that's great. Great for females, but it's just why isn't there anybody else in any other diversity?
Isn't it nuts?
It's sad, but yes.
It really just makes no sense. I'm hoping it'll help that they've opened up the academy to so many more people. Because if it's all 98% old white men doing the judging,
yes. Not
that there's anything wrong with old white men, but I guess they're voting for what they know, what they like. Anyway, that's my editorial commentary. I'm going to cut all that out. What's your favorite part of the process to do?
I like showing the end result. Everyone's like, it's about the journey, not the destination. It's no, I like showing the end result when it's all packaged, because that's the complete piece. You're I did this, this, and this with this, and this person. We're all on the same track, and so we have one complete piece. And it's all uniform, and it comes together. It's a package. So that is my favorite thing, is to present it to my crew and my cast.
As the final product.
As the final product.
So the writing, directing, producing, is it all the same to you because it's all in service to the final goal?
I enjoy directing. Out of the 3, writing, directing, producing, of the 3, if I had to choose one, directing. But, overall, my favorite thing is seeing the end product, because that's when it all comes together.
Yeah. So tell me kind of the journeys your films have been on. You're doing the festivals. Have you got some recognition? And so how are things going?
Yeah, absolutely. So at first, my co-writer and I, we started doing writing submissions, and we got into a couple of screenplay contests. We won a few of them, which was really great. And then we started doing, as the shorts, we started submitting them, and we've won a couple. We've been in a lot of finalist, semi-finalist and finalist official selection stuff. So it's really good. I have 2 in post right now, and those will, I believe, do very good in the film festivals. Those are my action, very fun action and martial arts as well. Even though it's not very film festival, type, right? Film festivals are more drama and comedic, but I'm gonna send them, and I think they'll do really well. They're different, but they're very colorful. So I look forward to those.
How are you financing doing 6 films a year?
The last one I did on crowdfunding. I was on a crowdfunding on Seed and Spark, so Emily's crowdfunding platform, which was really great. That's my favorite one out of all of them. And so I got a really good attention. I got a lot of great support. A lot of the community came forward and to help out and support it as well, like to offer their services and volunteer. So I got very, very lucky. I'm very fortunate. And then prior to that, it was just out of pocket.
Wow. And now you said you had a couple scripts get optioned. Tell me about that.
I had 3 scripts two scripts of mine, and then one I got hired to write. It was a book adaptation, and it was a sci-fi fantasy, kind of like Lord of the Rings, but not as great as Lord of the Rings, but in that regard.
Exactly like
yeah,
Lord of the Rings.
I ripped off Lord of the Rings, but it was a book, and 3 children, they go from point A to point B, and they all have some type of mystical powers. And of course, they grow and learn along the way and become stronger to get to point B. So that's the overall gist of that one. I can't really speak about it. But there's that one, and then Flirt, which is the romantic comedy with a female protagonist. It's being looked at right now by different agencies and different actresses. And then...
we are dying for some good rom-coms out here in the world.
It's very good. You'll like it. I promise.
I will like it.
It's gotten very good reviews. Everyone's always liked it. And then the last one is the martial arts one. It's very much a blood sport, but it's just a modern take on blood sport. But the same idea, fight to the death type of deal.
Do you have an agent?
No.
You're just doing all this.
I am.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
What do you make of kind of the state of the country and women at the moment?
I believe I am glad there's unity. Because there's a lot of diversity in unity, and there's a lot of division, which I find very unfortunate between groups. And like
between groups of women,
between groups of all diversities, but in groups of women as well. I agree with that. So at least that there's some unity, and that is great, right? Because how we win wars is a divide and conquer.
Right.
So if we,
it's like, hello, we're on the same side.
Yeah, that's absolutely what I agree. I agree with you. But I think it's all coming together. I think it's progress. Hopefully it's not a long way to go, but it's progress, and as long as we stand together, I think we're fine.
Does it feel like this moment's a little different?
Not for me.
No.
But I told you I was raised differently. But I'm happy for other females. I absolutely am happy.
It feels to me like people have woken up in a way that they hadn't. Yes. Prior to last year. Are you like, welcome to the party, people? Like, where have you all been?
In a way, yes. I'm glad others have woken up. Yeah, absolutely. And people are becoming more awake, and they're using the word feminist and feminism, and sometimes I hear it said incorrectly, which is unfortunate. And now that it's a trend, it's also unfortunate in that it's trendy. As opposed to it's just like, no, it's just who I am. It's like, I have the best, feminist short film, and it has nothing to do with feminism. But people have pitched me that.
It was made by a woman?
Yeah, well, because it's a female. I don't know, but it's like, it has nothing to do with the word feminism. It's like anti-feminism. And like even there's movies now, they're like, oh, it's feminist, and like they fail the Bechdel test. And I'm like,
right.
How are you feminist? And like the whole point is the girl's trying to go after the guy on this one particular one I'm thinking of.
That's so funny.
And so
I was talking about the Bechdel test yesterday with somebody. Like, the bar is so flippin' low. Right?
Yeah.
And then to fail that and then call yourself a feminist film, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So, I mean, I give them, like, they're half-baked feminists, which is like, okay, it's better than being not feminist.
Not at all.
Yeah.
At least they're using the word and not acting like it's a bad word or mean something that it doesn't mean.
Yeah, I guess. At least half-baked. At least they're on their way. That's a nice way. They're on their way toward it, and so it is progress. That's all I'll say on that.
Now, what's your family think now that you're fully in filmmaking and not working at a corporation somewhere? They
let me do my thing. They're supportive. They They're more so on the end goal, like where I am. My family is supportive. They always offer me their ideas, and they're very, very critical. So in a way, it's very good because most people are very... I'm not saying they're not supportive. I'm just saying that most people are like, oh, that's great, etc. But my family will say every single thing that's wrong with it in regards to the writing or production or the post. And so it's really good in that, like, I have an extra ear. Whether or not I adhere to what they say is different. Yeah. But it's good that I'm like, okay, this is an outsider because they're not industry. And so it's really good to see their perspective and why they say it. Because they'll explain to me why they don't like one particular shot or what I did wrong and why. But in a very good way. So it helps me.
That's actually great. They're not just dazzled by it. Like,
yes,
wow.
Absolutely. Right.
That's only going to make you better.
Yes.
That's great. What advice do you have for young women who are just thinking about getting in?
Just do it. Don't wait for anybody. Just do it. If you want to write. Your first stuff will be horrible, absolutely horrible, but it doesn't matter. The point is getting format, getting practice, getting used to the outlines, getting used to anything. If you want to direct, you want to produce, go get your team, go practice interviewing people, go see their work and see what you like about their work and see what works with you, because some personalities don't work with you. Same thing with directing. Go out and borrow a camera or go find a DP, a great DP, and you'll learn along the way. I've learned so much from my crew, I've learned more from my crew than probably the crew has learned from me. And that's a really great thing. Sometimes I'm very fortunate with who's around me. Mm-hmm. Because they teach me, like, I'm not technical. I don't know anything technical about a camera. You know, you tell me about a lens, I'll be like, cool. You know, but it's not.
How's it look?
Yeah, as long as it looks cool in the camera, I'm great. But that's not necessarily my job. My job is the shot, the angle.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm fortunate because my DPs are great, because my gaffers are great, because everyone around me is so great. So I learn a lot from them. So get a good crew around you. Very good support network as well is super important. Someone who to be truthful with you and say, I don't like this cut, or I don't like this because X, Y, Z. And then you take it from there as to if you accept that answer or not. But get people that support you that will bring you up, that'll help bring you up.
How do you run your set?
I haven't really had an AD, and so I'm an AD as well as a director.
Oh, man.
As well as a producer, and sometimes wardrobe, and sometimes crafty. But, you know, I'm out of pocket, so I don't mind it. You know, it's, and I'm fast. Like, I can do all of it. I'm not ADD, but I'm very good at being ADD if I need to be. Uh-huh. And so I appreciate it. I like quick sets. You know, everyone's on borrowed time, so everyone's doing me the favor. And so
you're not messing around.
Oh, absolutely not. No, I'm very good with time. And so I just break things down. Like, okay, we got to get this done. We have to move to the next thing. I'm the AD, you know, I'm the AD for my own set. And so I like it. I'm nice. I don't yell at people. I'm not, you know, like Jerry Bruckheimer. I'm not any of those types of people. I'm not Michael Bay in any way. Like, that'd be an insult.
Apologies to Michael Bay.
No apologies to Michael Bay. But that one you can keep.
Notorious, right? Notorious.
But
you don't have to be like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm polite. I appreciate my crew. I appreciate my cast. I appreciate my background. I appreciate everyone. Like, I know we're all working for the same goal. We're all on the same ship, you know, so we're all trying to get to the point B.
How do you think about working with actors?
Oh, actors are great. I think actors are really good.
What's your process with them?
I give them the script, see if they like it. If they like it, then they read for it. I give them, you know, notes if they need it. Most of the time, they don't need it.
Do you rehearse them?
On set, I rehearse them while we're doing a camera rehearsal. And then if there's any notes in regards for camera's purpose, we'll take the notes. We'll move them, you know, a step back or whatnot, or louder, look in a particular direction in regards to camera. And then that's it. Generally, they're all great. I mean, majority of actors or all actors, I've been fortunate, you know, like, they know how to act, you know. So, and they love what they do. They're there for the reason, for the project, for the piece. And so, same thing for the overall goal. So that's why I'm like, we're all in the same goal. So we're all one big collaborate. We're a big unified, you know, well-oiled machine, right? But I think actors are great.
I also wanted to ask you, like, is your intent to kind of be an independent filmmaker, or do you eventually want to get into the studio system?
I hopefully will get into the studio system. I mean, the major blockbusters, you know, like if I can do one of the Wonder Womans down the line, that would be amazing. But that has to be studio or Marvel. I know I have a far way out to get to there, and that's fine because I like to be more so in control, and same thing, like choose my crew, choose my cast, and, you know, choose what I want to write and everything else in that regard. And so that, so I appreciate and I love doing indies for that reason, but, you know, if I want to do a $100 million budget studio, you know, like Wonder Woman, or eventually I have a Latino superhero series, that will probably be, you know, studio. I don't have that money as of right now, you know. And I'm
you
not
have $100 million in your pocket.
You know, just hanging around,
burning a hole,
chump change. But you know, that's a future. That's a future project, and the same thing. You know, rising tide. I will bring everyone with me if I have that power, and when I get to there, I will have that power. You know, and be like, no, this is my DP. She's a Latino DP. This is my crew.
And why not? Kevin Smith did that.
Good.
You know,
yes.
You take your people with you.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about, you're doing a series of shorts that all kind of go together.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So the Latino superheroes, I have 4 Latino superheroes. One's a Mexican superhero. She's Jalisco, and she dances flocorico. Her blades come out of her dress, and so when she dances, she like slices their necks while she's dancing.
Wow.
The moves. And so I just shot that one. It's really cool. We shot it in San Gabriel Mission. It was a lot of fun. It's in post right now.
Wait, how did you do that effect?
I have a really cool post special effects guy. He volunteered his services. He did work for King Arthur as well as Wonder Woman as well. And so he saw my project on the social media sites, and he wrote me saying, I'll offer my services. And I was like, yes. Yes, I'm telling you, I'm very lucky. I'm extremely fortunate. And so I didn't have to do any practical effects, which is nice. Because it's not like we can dance with blades coming out of a dress.
I mean, you could.
We could, but that's...
It's a whole different dynamic on your set.
So we got to shoot a lot faster, which is nice. And, you know, everything is in post. So the blades coming out of her dress on the next shot when she kills the bodyguards as well. They shoot out of her dress very like Kung Fu Hustle in that regard with the musicians. But... they project, you know, the blood spurts, everything. We don't have to clean up that stuff. It's all, you know, it's post. So lucky on my side as a director, I don't really have to do much in that regard. Just make sure we get the shot.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay, the second one.
Second one is Loquita. And so Loquita means crazy. And she's a goth girl, and she wants to have a normal life, but she can't because she's stuck fighting demons and ghosts and any type of paranormal.
Work.
Yeah, and so they call her crazy because she's the only one that can see them. So she's always fighting off people, but like to the regular person, they look like she looks like she's punching the air, right?
Oh,
so they call her crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah. You know, and like in reality, she's defending them. She's, you know, protecting the people. So that's her story. Goth girl, can't have a normal life, stuck saving people. Another one that I have in post right now as well that I shot at the end of last year was Santa, which means saint. And she has divine strength. So she talks to God. She doesn't know she speaks to God. But she's always looking up. She's like, why is this happening, right? Because she thinks she's cursed and like she's clumsy and all this stuff. But she really has divine strength when it comes down to it. So in the scene that I shot, the short, which is the intro, she walks into a bar for XYZ reasons. You know, she just wants a drink, but the bar is filled with luchadores, which is just funny in itself, right? It's a big luchador bar brawl, so think country, but, you know, big Mexican mask, you know, Mexican luchador masks. And so, anyway, they flirt with her, they pick a fight, et cetera, you know, things get out of hand, and eventually they all get in a fight, and they come after her, one person comes after her, so she gets in the fight unwillingly, and she takes all the luchadores down, because in a way she's like the Hulk. She doesn't transform necessarily, but like she's the Hulk, and she just beats them all up, this little, like, you know,
she's like the reluctant warrior.
Yeah, the reluctant warrior, I like that. And so, same thing, they're all fun, and they're all cute, they're all slightly different, they're not the typical superhero. And my last one is Chara, which is like a cowgirl. And
say that word one.
Chara.
Okay.
And so she's from New York, and she dresses like a cowgirl, like a very, very fashionable cowgirl. And people think same thing, that she's just like, oh, she's just a New Yorker, just a fashion, you know, weirdo type. But in reality, to her, she's a cowgirl. She's a gunslinger. And so she's the genuine one. She's the naive, the genuine, a little bit of character, but naive, Southern hospitality, genuine one, means well. She'll insult you, but she doesn't know it's an insult type of deal because she's just talking. But like that's how she sees it. She's like, oh, you shop at Hot Topic, awesome, you know. But in reality, like, like the other, in that regard, Loquita would take it incorrectly. You know, be like, no, you know. So it's they're all cute. They all play off each other. So the series of shorts that I'm doing, they're intros to the feature, which is going to be called A la Brava. And A la Brava, it's pretty much how Batman is to Justice League. Muñeca, which is the lead, the older lady, she's going to bring together these 4 superheroes and be like, hey, we need to beat this character, or he's going to take the world down, XYZ. You know, it's a broader sense. They're all standalone movies as well. I wrote out Jalisco, besides the short, I wrote out an outline for it and a pitch packet. I have somebody looking at it to do the movie. So standalones was decided to do it first, or a comic book series, because a lot of people showed interest when I started crowdfunding for Jalisco. They said I should do it, either one, comic book or a standalone. And so I was like, okay. And so that's where I am right now.
So for the feature film, will they all come together?
Eventually they'll all come together. So think of like Justice League, like Batman had his own, Wonder Woman had his own, you know, Superman had their own, XYZ, Aquaman, I believe, will have his own. And then they all come together for the Justice League. So they all come together for A la Brava.
It's like they're all a little bit underestimated.
Yes, absolutely. And they're all in a way quirky and they're fun. You know, they're not, like saying they're not the typical like, oh, I can fly, good for you, you know, or just, you know, just basic stuff. Like they're all somewhat real, and in a way they're not necessarily superheroes, even though I like to coin them as superheroes. They're heroes. They're not superheroes. They don't have necessarily anything extra besides Loquita. Loquita can actually have powers, has powers. And Muñeca. Muñeca comes at the very end for the A la Brava.
They just have skills.
They got lots of skills, really defined skills.
Now, are these, the way that you're pronouncing all of their names, are you shooting these in English or in Spanish?
Well, Jalisco, the short, I shot in Spanish because it takes place in Mexico. It takes place in Jalisco. Okay. And so, even though obviously I shot it here, but we shot it in Spanish. And so that one, and in the feature A la Brava, she only speaks Spanish, even though she knows English, and she does that purposely to get the girls mad. But in
subversive.
Yeah, but because they should know Spanish, that's why. But in the outline for Jalisco, the movie, I have her, and everyone, even though the same thing, it takes place in Mexico, I have it actually set, in Guadalajara, in Jalisco. And maybe they're going to go to Chihuahua. I haven't decided yet in regards to, for that outline. I had them speak in English because I want it to be open to the U.S. audiences. Like, it'll transfer over to Mexico well, regardless. But in my head right now, it's English, and I don't necessarily want to do Spanglish because I kind of hate that everyone says something in Spanish and they have to repeat it in English for the non-speakers, and it's just like, choose one, you know. And so I always think it like that when I see both dialogue. So English, all the rest of them, they're all from America, and so they're in New York, El Paso, and Los Angeles. So they're 3 girls, and so they would speak English. Everyone else speaks English. As right now, everything's in English, except for my short.
Okay. Okay, that wasn't that dumb of a question after
all.
all.
That was a good question. I've been asked that, and it's a good point. Like, it should technically be in Spanish. I just want it to transfer and be available for both Latin America as well as the States. And so, for right now, English.
Yeah. Well, and I think Americans tend to be a pain in the ass about subtitles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless it's international foreign film. And then you get the indies.
Right. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to talk about?
No, I don't believe so. I just did a PSA for Chicano International Film Festival. And so I became development director recently at the end of the year for this film festival. And it caters to Chicanos, which is Latinas as well. And it's very Chicanos. I mean, Chicano culture. So we're revamping it. I'm development director, so I have a lot of room to wiggle in it. So we're revamping it. We're going to add like a book fair and a poetry fair, live music, folklorico, as well as danza, which is like Aztec dancing. So it's more of a cultural event, as well as, of course, the shorts and the feature and a documentary. So like expanding that, yeah, because like why not? Like, we're part of LA. We've been here and we're not going anywhere. Chicanos in Hollywood or Latinos in Hollywood, whatever you want to call it. Like, we're not, and it's unfortunate. So it's just like, yes, we're here. We're absolutely here, and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and P.S. we were here first.
And we were here first as Aslan.
What's a distinction between Chicano and Latina?
There is a lot of, depends who you ask.
I'm asking you.
All right, so Chicana, the word Chicana rose from the 70s, and it's when, with the Chicano movement and the protests, 70s protests, and it was an embracing of their culture, of Chicano culture. Okay, so like Aztec, like the dancing came back, the Aztec dancing came back. And to say like, no, you know, like we're against colonialism, we're against everything that you guys are, like we're rooted, you know, like so the Chicanos, like we're rooted, and people saw us as activists, you know, and obviously there were some extremists as well. I'm not saying there's not. But, you know, like, we're activists, like, you know, like the Black Panthers. Like, to me, they're great. They did so good. You know, they're amazing people. But, you know, like, you ask my grandma, she's like, no, Chicano, that's a bad thing. She said, Black Panthers are bad. You know, and that's fine.
Like, just too much.
Yeah, you know, like, they're radicals. They're seen as radicals. And that's why I'm like, I'm not an activist. I'm just a person. You know, it's just, like, depends who you ask. I do my thing. You know, Chicanos do their thing. You know, Black Panthers, great. I'm for all of them. But, so a Chicana, in a broader sense, is an open-minded person, a conscious creator. So someone that wants change that will not necessarily change themselves in a way. A lot of people define it as if your parents are from Mexico, then you're Chicana. So that's the most accepted definition. So you're either Mexican or you're Chicana. Depends if you were born in the States or not, if you were born in Mexico. I like to expand the definition. And so like Latin America, like people from Latin America, people from the Caribbean, people from Mexico, we're all, people obviously from the States, we're all Chicanos. That's the way I see it. There's no, the same thing, I'm about unity. I'm not like, oh, I'm this and you're this. They're like, no, we're all the same. We're all fighting the same fight. You know, it's just like, just see that. And
let's pick it apart by region.
Well, and it's true, people do, and there's a lot of infighting, which is unfortunate. There's a lot of clash based on where you're from. You know, it's just like, no, we're on, you know, none of us are being represented in the industry. You know, relax. Yeah, like, you know, it's just...
Get it together, man.
Yeah, you know, one fight at a time if you want to go that route. But it's that. So for me, it's conscious-minded creator. You can have the spirit of a Chicana. You know, like if you're here to fight, you show up to the Women's March, to me, you're a Chicana. Whether you're white or black or whatever, it doesn't matter. You're a Chicana because you're fighting for your rights. You know your roots.
We are all Chicana.
There you go. I wrote an article recently about that too, the Chicana definition, because a lot of people ask me. A lot of people ask me what feminism is, and a lot of people ask me what Chicana is. And so I got them both down. Feminism is equality for women. 3 words, equality for women. And a lot of people, or a lot of Facebook people fight me and say feminism is dead. Random guys I don't know. And, you know, and it's just like...
Feminism is dead?
And they gave me links as to every reason why. And I'm like I'm
why?
not going to...
What did they say?
I didn't look at the links. I don't care.
You're not going down that rabbit hole.
It's just so much stuff. There's so much hate on the internet in regards to feminism. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So I disregard them. I keep them as my friends so they can see what I post. But unless they unfollow me themselves. But... it's fun. I like it a lot. I read people's comments purposely, like on the feminist news and all that stuff. It's just like there's so many different perspectives, and they're all, you know, to me, they're all incorrect. So it keeps me aware.
But does that just make you nuts, or do you try to combat it? Like
I don't combat it. There's no point in fighting. You can't talk to someone if they're not listening. Like, you know, if they're not literally ready to hear what you're saying, there's no point talking to them. If someone asks me a question, of course I'll answer it, you know, and then they fight me XYZ, that's on them. But I won't necessarily answer something unless somebody asks me. I won't get provoked into a conversation.
You're not out there fighting on the internet.
Yeah, I'll reply once, you know, and that's it. And then they keep going the same thing and repeating with just random things that aren't even facts, just like, you know, just random nonsense stuff. I'm done.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah, you know, and my friends do a great job of defending me. I have guys and girls that they're great feminists, you know, and they'll defend me and like defend female directors. Like there was one that's just female directors in general. You know, it's just like,
someone was attacking that?
Yes.
Like,
some dude said that there are no female directors and that's why we don't get hired. And I was just like, no. You know, I can't combat stupidity. But it's...
he just doesn't know anything.
Yeah, no. And so, you know, there's certain things that I will fight. I will obviously defend anyone, but I will not, to a point, you know, if they're not listening, there's no point.
Yeah, you just can't be in battle all the time.
Yeah, and then there's trolls. You know, people like doing that stuff, and so it's just. But I don't necessarily. No, I don't pick fights. I don't go. I'll read comments sometimes. I won't pick battles with the people that want to pick battles. Like on the feminist news, there's so many anti-feminists that follow it, and it's just like, why are you on this page? Apparently it's not for you.
Why? Like, I don't get the getting all the energy up to go and fight against it. Like, what?
Yeah.
Just ignore it.
Yeah, it's
if
like,
it's so offensive.
Just admit you're a sexist and that's it.
And
we already know
yourself.
that. Yeah,
it's fine.
It's a given.
Oh my God. All right. Oh, where can people find you?
I have different social media sites. My main website is Phoenix Rises, APHOENIXRISES.com. My social media sites on Instagram is my name, Kayden Phoenix, KaydenPhoenix. And then my Facebook is my name, or it's my name, if you're going to do the URL, it's facebook.com, Phoenix Kayden. It's the same spelling as the other one. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to The Other 50%, a herstory of Hollywood. I'm Julie Harris Walker. I'd like to thank Kayden Phoenix for sharing her story, and special thanks to Jay Rowe, Danny Rosner, and Allison McQuaid for the music. Please find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbay, and subscribe and leave a review. And of course, on our website, theother50%.com, all spelled out in letters, for added features, bios of our guests, and the merch. Please go there right now and subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Other50%, and Instagram at Other50% Podcast. Thanks for listening. See you next time.